Good morning. My name is Erica Connors. On behalf of the Manchester School District, I would like to welcome you all to the 2015-2016 school year. Our district is thriving, and we are ready for an amazing school year for Manchester. Today we have several guests here to tell you what we can expect in the coming months. I would like to begin by introducing our district's chief, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Deborah Livingston.
Good morning.
Good morning. As well as our assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, Mr. David Ryan.
Good morning, Erica.
Welcome and thank you for being with us today. Dr. Livingston and Mr. Ryan, we have a lot of new and exciting things happening in the school year. To begin with, the start date of kindergarten has changed and is now Tuesday, September 8th, almost 1 week after the start date for our regular ed students. Can you explain this change for us?
We certainly can. First of all, our principals really feel that the beginning days of school for every child are extremely important. And we just needed more time with our kindergartners and our families so that they could adjust to the structure of kindergarten. So having a few days to go in, have children see their classrooms, meet with their teachers, do some initial testing to find out where kids are at and how we can help them was extremely important. We understand that this is different than we've done in the past, but we really feel that the kindergarten students will make much better adjustments as they go through the school year.
Thank you. So kindergarten students will be spending a little bit of time in the classroom before their official start date.
Yes, every school has arranged their times with students and their families a little differently. You should be receiving, if you have not already, a letter from your principal describing dates and times for you and your family to visit the classroom.
Thank you. We have some new leaders in Manchester this year at Hallsville, Wilson, and Southside. This could be a big year of change for some of these schools. Can you tell us a little bit about these individuals and what we can look forward to with their leadership?
Sure. First at Hallsville, we have Bonnie Skogsholm, who comes to us as an assistant from assistant principal position. And she will be joining us as principal at Hallsville. She has some extensive background, and she's really definitely a community person, one who cares about our students and has already reached out to our families, and we feel that she is a perfect fit for Hallsville. We also have Wilson School principalship is open. Our principal there moved out of the state, and so we will be conducting interviews for that position in the very near future. But Brendan French is there as the assistant principal. He's a very strong leader, and we feel that he will make the school year happen very smoothly, especially with the faculty to support him there. And then finally at Southside, we welcome a new assistant principal. Her name is Jessica Milligan, and she comes to us with lots of experience again as an assistant principal in other districts, and she will be a strong leader and support of Jen Gillis, who is the principal at Southside.
Wonderful. This summer, a few of our buildings have seen some significant change as well, very exciting changes and upgrades as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what has been happening this summer at Beach Street, Webster, Wilson, and MSD?
Well, again, we are so excited about the renovations that have occurred this summer in such a short period of time. And we really want to thank Kevin O'Malley and his folks over at Facilities for making this happen. Beach Street has really gotten a facelift, new colors, new windows, new classroom walls. Also, in the very near future, they will have a new playground, which will be right beside the building. So students will no longer have to cross the street in order to get to the school. So we really appreciate the board moving forward and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to allow us to have a bond which would support these renovations. At Webster Street School, it's much the same. Actually, the office location has changed to create a greater safety for our school and a clear entrance. We also have new windows as well as walls. The both Beach and Wilson have been were an open school concept, which was very difficult for the structure of the school, and so placing those walls, hallways, windows has been very important. And I'm sure later in the program you're going to hear more about the MST renovations from Karen, who is our principal at MST. But we have at the center of the building new science labs, which were really needed there, some movement of our daycare or a child facility, which will then this is really our first phase, Erica, so we'll see more coming for MST as they grow, continually grow, and have their new high school.
Wonderful. I look forward to hearing from Karen a little more information about that. Mr. Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about our fall athletics programs? What do students and families need to know going into the upcoming sports season?
Sure, happy to. We have a large number of students who participate in fall athletics or interscholastic athletics. We have more so this year because we've added boys soccer at the middle school level. All 4 middle schools will have a boys soccer team. And we actually have a plan over the next 4 years on rolling out more middle school athletic programs to include girls soccer. We've also added girls volleyball, which we now have at the middle school level. Both the boys soccer and the girls volleyball will compete in Tri-County athletics, the first time that we've returned to Tri-County in a very long time. And that also includes our middle school basketball programs, the boys and girls. That have only been competing inner city for the last, I don't know, several years. So this marks a return to Tri-County, where they'll be competing with other schools and school districts from around the state of New Hampshire. So it's a really exciting time for our young athletes at the middle school level. At the high school level, we have a full buffet of sports for all of our students at Central Memorial and West High School. Students and student athletes need to make sure they have an updated physical. It usually expires after 1 year, so typically that week following that year they can go into either their doctor. There are a few walk-in centers where they can have a physical taken place, and then they can go online to our athletics department website and log in through Family ID through their respective high school. So they can work the documentation that way. There are several documents that they're required to submit. So I recommend that our families go to Family ID and check off the documents that they're supposed to submit. And always check with the athletic office or with the coach at the respective school.
Wonderful. And Mr. Ryan, students can receive credit for these athletic opportunities as well. Is that correct?
They can, yeah. They work. It's based on an ELO credit, so students who are participating in an interscholastic activity, such as soccer, football, regardless of the sport, they can substitute the phys ed credit for a wellness credit that they'll earn through participation. And that just requires some pretty easy paperwork to fill out and file, and they can work through their guidance counselor with that.
Wonderful. Thank you. I know we have Nash Reddy here with us today too, but how about adult education? Some big and exciting things are taking shape here. We have a new director and new location. Can you tell us about these changes?
I can. We're very excited about our adult education. We're rebranding as the Adult and Community Learning Program in Manchester. It's been a strong focus on our adult population of speakers of languages other than English. We're going to maintain that focus this year. We've relocated our adult ESL classes and adult basic education classes in conjunction with University of New Hampshire, Manchester. Mike Hickey, the current dean of the university, has worked in partnership with the school district, and they've been very receptive to establishing a program for us down at their campus next to the river. So there are 5 dedicated classrooms, and they're very excited to receive our students. They've already had an open house with students. They've also had a faculty meeting at the campus. So they're very excited to have that relocation there. In terms of the apprenticeship program, that will remain at MST because of the equipment needs that we have, and that's been a very successful program. And we also have our adult population of folks who may not have finished high school for whatever reason, or students who are in school who are struggling with the traditional classroom. We're expanding the adult education or evening high school program where students can earn high school credit in a non-traditional way. Those classes will be held at Central High School in the afternoon or the evening. I believe this year we're going to be looking at just having them in the evening as we branch out into more opportunities for students in the afternoon. But those are all going to be run through the Adult and Community Learning Office at 521 Maple Street, which is right across, or diagonally across from Central High School. And the new director of Adult and Community Learning is Barbara Gardner, who has taught at MST and has worked at Central Office in Manchester. She has a long history of working with non-traditional learners, vast experience in doing so, and she brings a lot of passion. She brings a lot of energy and a lot of very creative ideas to expanding the opportunities for people who just didn't succeed in a traditional classroom. So we're very, very excited to be able to offer this to people who want to come back to school and earn the high school diploma.
Wonderful. So it sounds like 521 Maple Street is going to be the headquarters, but it really sounds like you're branching out into the community and making the community the classroom for adult ed.
That's correct. We believe the city is our classroom, and we want to utilize the city the best way we can. We're also going to be looking at offering a satellite classroom utilizing space over at the Manchester Community Resource Center on the corner of Hall and Lake, where they dedicated a classroom for an adult basic education and ESL class as well. So I know Barbara's working on establishing that. It's really just utilizing what we have in the community at our disposal. We'll be having our high-set testing program located over at West High School. So we'll be tapping into the community resources on the west side, the east side, and certainly in the south end as well. So we're really capturing this spirit of using the city as our classroom.
Thank you. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have our elementary students. Last year, our teachers created the Manchester Academic Standards and began working on writing curriculum for them. Mm-hmm. This year, we have a new elementary math curriculum being rolled out across the district. What can families expect to see from this program?
I think I'll address the families with that. I think what families really ought to look forward to is an increase in the working towards the academic standards that we developed 2 years ago and finished last summer. This past year, our math curriculum writing team has really worked hard at developing a pacing guide. And what that is the alignment of the standards we want students to know and be able to master by the end of a particular unit, not necessarily the end of a particular month. So what we're trying to do is tailor how students are learning and to the best of their ability in terms of the speed at which they're learning. And what I mean by that is one classroom may be working through a unit much more quickly than another classroom in another school. And we want the teachers and the students to really embrace this notion of they're going to be assessed when they're ready, not necessarily when the calendar tells them they're supposed to be assessed. So it's a different way of approaching our instruction. It takes some time for that change to happen. There's a tremendous amount of differentiation in terms of instruction, personal instruction in the classroom, and that all ties into the development of these pacing guides. In line with those pacing guides are units of study, and units of study are simply plans for how teachers are going to teach the standards. So we have 8 units that we're projecting. We currently have the first few units depending upon the grade level. Some grade levels have several units available. Other grade levels have the first 2 units, and they're already in teachers' hands. Within those units are links and ways of access to all of the resources and the materials that the teachers are going to need in order for students to be able to access the curriculum. So they'll be using not only online resources that have already been vetted for rigor, but they're also going to be using textbooks, some Basel textbooks, Envision's Math, My Math from McGraw-Hill, all of which have already been aligned and crosswalked with the standards in the Manchester School District. So if you have a student at Webster who might be following the My Math program, as opposed to a student at Bakersfield who's following Envisions, what will happen is they'll still be learning the same standards. They're just not going to be flipping the book open starting at page 1 and then going on to page 2 and page 3. They're actually going to be going to the spots in the textbook where the standards are being taught. So each month our students will continue with their fact fluency and their computation assessments. We've seen tremendous gains in the students' ability to mathematically compute, and we've seen tremendous growth, particularly in grades 3, 4, and 5 in their fact fluency. We want to maintain that. And then when the students are ready for the unit assessment, they'll sit for it, we'll score it, and then we'll look at the data across all 14 schools. And that'll give us a better picture of how our math, not only how our math program is evolving, but how well our students are doing in the classroom, so that we can go back in and we can do the interventions that are necessary. So it's a really exciting time for our preschool through 5 math curriculum. We're working on our reading and writing curriculum as well. That's been worked on all summer. And we also have our middle school ELA and math curriculum that is rolling out in terms of their units of study, and pacing guides for the math program are already available to teachers.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Livingston and Mr. Ryan. It sounds like we have a lot to look forward to this school year. Our next guest we have here tonight is Pat Snow. Pat is the director of the Innovation Zone. Welcome, Pat. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Erica. I'm very excited to be here. The Innovation Zone was created in a response to doing things differently. Superintendent Livingston thought about how can we do things differently, especially for our schools that are in need of improvement. So the traditional model of school has not changed for many years, and the Innovation Zone is doing things differently.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Innovation Zone? What schools does it entail? How were schools selected? And maybe a little bit about how it might tie to Title I?
Yes, our schools that were selected was through a process from the federal government. They were the bottom 5% of the state performing based on the state testing. And in the past, it's always been schools in need of improvement, schools that are failing. Well, Manchester is the first in the state to really take that and turn it to a positive. How can we empower our students, our teachers, our principals to really think about how can we teach differently to meet the needs of every student in our school? How can we have our teachers explore different ways of teaching, changing their pedagogy, their facilitation of learning? Right now we have 6 schools that are in the Innovation Zone: Bakersville, Beach, Goslar, Parker Varney, which is also our 2015 School of Excellence. Bakersville is in the Circle of Excellence, so we're already seeing positive results from the changes. McDonough, Wilson, and Goslar are our innovation schools. And our Title I schools are all of those schools just mentioned, as well as Northwest and Hallsville.
Okay. Could you please tell us a little bit about Title I? What does Title I mean? What are our schools and students, how do they benefit from Title I funding?
Title I is assistance for our students that are maybe disadvantaged students, and what it does is really helps the equity for our students, delivery of services for our families and our students. It is determined by free and reduced lunch, so it's really important that we have those forms. And then there's a formula created by the federal government, and that determines how much funding our city receives.
Okay, and what type of programs can we see in our schools that do receive Title I funding?
We have many initiatives and programs going as a result of our federal funding. For instance, we have certified instructors, and they're there to help service our students, to help really those students that aren't quite on grade level, but to really help empower the students and give them the extra time they need to be successful. We also have our initiatives from school managers, which is our SAMS process, which helps our principals spend more time in the classrooms. It's a process. It's also professional development, so that our principals are receiving professional development on how to give feedback to principals, so that they can in turn give teachers feedback that will help them in their pedagogy and delivery of instruction for our students.
Excellent, thank you. Along with the Innovation Zone, one of your big projects last year for the 2014-15 school year was the implementation of First Junior STEAM Ahead. This year we're going to see an expansion of that program. What can we expect to see from the program, and how can our students benefit from it?
First Junior STEAM is really a community adventure, which is so exciting. We have partnered with first local companies, our technology companies. We have mentors going into the classroom, facilitating how do we teach our students about robots, project-based learning, problem-based learning, using the first Lego League.
How do students benefit actually
Okay.
from the Lego program? What types of skills can they gain from it, and exhibiting their leadership as well?
Okay. So our students are, this first year has been amazing. We have visited the classrooms. The students are so engaged. If you walk into the first junior STEAM classrooms, you see the students engaged, problem solving, working in teams. They are helping one another solve problems, program robots. Students that have not typically been a leader, we're seeing them evolve as leaders, either through the programming aspect or engineering, the creativity. We're really utilizing 21st century skills, and the students they want to be engineers. We had Dean Kamen visit, and one of the students said, "I want to be like you when I grow up." So the students are so excited about the possibilities, and it really is creating a pipeline for our technology companies from the classroom, from kindergarten all the way up through high school. It really is exciting. Our girls, the girls are really embracing engineering, and they haven't had these opportunities before.
Wonderful. So this program will have a lot of ties to the community then, in terms of the local businesses as well as volunteers coming in to work with our students as well.
Absolutely, and we have our community members and support from all the technology companies. So I think the technology companies will be coming to Manchester to hire our students for the future.
Great. Thank you very much for being with
You're
us
welcome.
today. Welcome back. I would like to introduce Nash Reddy, our new Director of Student Services. Thank you for being here today, Nash.
Thank you, Erica.
Nash, what are student services, and what can families expect from student services and special services in Manchester schools?
Sure. Student services refers to quite often special education services. Special education services are provided for those students who cannot access the curriculum without additional supports of some kind because they typically have an educational disability. So student services and special education are provided in Manchester through the IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disability in Education Act. So it's something that all students receive regardless of where they're educated in the United States, or for that matter in the state of New Hampshire. So if you should suspect that your child isn't quite having the level of success that you would believe that they should have, this is a conversation that you would start with their classroom teacher relative to what's going on in the classroom and how they are presenting as a learner. And student services would step in when certain things present themselves that may suggest other services are needed.
Great. So if families need to request services or have questions they'd like to have addressed regarding the services their students might receive, who can they contact?
Well, the first person to speak with is really the classroom teacher. Classroom teachers in the Manchester School District are very familiar with the IDEA regulations and laws, and they're also very familiar with the best practices for educating not just students with disabilities, but all students. So as a parent, starting that conversation with your child's classroom teacher is the best place to start. They can also then refer you to any additional supports within the school building that may be available to assist. Oftentimes, if the situation cannot be rectified or addressed immediately in the typical classroom, other folks that are professionals within the school building will be brought to a meeting so that items can be discussed. And sometimes this may lead to either additional assessments or testing, depending on the age of your child, just to ensure that the district is being responsive to their needs as a learner and making sure that accommodations or modifications are provided should they be necessary.
You just mentioned age of the child. Does it matter how old a child is before they start receiving services?
That's an excellent question. It does not matter, and oftentimes, depending on the disability, it will present at different ages. Sometimes students are identified very young because their disability is either so significant or such a part of how they access the world that it's something early on we're able to incorporate and address in their educational programming. Sometimes as children develop, things present themselves and become typically from their environment, that shape themselves in a way that accessing their education is difficult because now suddenly we're looking at, say, for example, a specific learning disability in reading. So up until the early years and maybe into second, third grade, suddenly reading isn't quite being accessed and the child isn't picking it up like the peers. And there are several red flags such as this that our classroom teachers are very well trained and versed in recognizing. And so that's why I encourage parents to build that relationship with the classroom teacher and definitely reach out.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Jeff DeLange here. Jeff is our Director of Instructional Technology for the Manchester School District. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Erica.
Jeff, tell us about the world of technology in the Manchester School District.
Well, over the last 2 years, we've really refined our technology vision, and we've built a model to unify all of our technology initiatives around student learning. The model depicted in a graphic that we have here, we refer to as the Technology Leadership Roadmap. And the strategy is really built around 4 pillars of technology focus. The first is learning infrastructure. The second is communications and community engagement. The third is planning. And the fourth is professional learning. So what we've done is the model was specifically designed to support all of the work that's being done around throughout the district on student learning objectives, or SLOs. Also, at the center of this model is a nationally recognized 21st century learning framework called P21. Now, P21 is rooted in fostering essential 21st century skills of communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. These are the essential skills that are needed to support the development of an innovation mindset for all of our learners.
Excellent. What initiatives are in the works this year to continue to enhance the strategic plan?
So we have several planned updates for our learning infrastructure, including increased bandwidth at our high schools and middle schools. We'll be filling the gaps in our Wi-Fi network. We'll be adding more than 1,000 computing devices into the classrooms. We're adding a new home-to-school communications system called School Messenger, and we're also getting new technology as a result of the construction projects at Beach, Webster, MSD, and other schools around the district. However, this year our primary focus will be toward classroom instruction and professional learning within the schools.
Okay, what specific plans do you have for staff professional learning?
So we're excited to have an additional 5 schools added to our T21 Training for 21st Century Professional Learning Initiative, bringing the total schools committed to that program to 17 within the district. T21 is an ongoing year-long program. We're currently entering our 2nd year of the program, which includes face-to-face on-site module-based learning and webinars where the participants earn CEC credits and optional graduate credits. The goal of T21 is to foster technology leadership and self-sufficiencies within the schools by supporting small 3 to 5 person teams of technology leaders within the schools. So
it sounds like momentum is really building within the schools towards building authentic 21st century learning environments then.
Absolutely. We're also we're continuing to building out our community connections. We're our very successful internship programs. We're working more closely with our school ELO programs. And we have a unique partnership with SNHU and NCCBL, the National Center for Competency-Based Learning, called 1,000 Mentors. And that program is designed to connect local businesses to students. We're also hoping to continue to build on that momentum and generate more clarity and excitement around our technology vision by creating a brand for the MSD technology strategy. And the brand is going to be entitled Empower IT, and it's capital M for Manchester, Power IT, and the purpose of it is to unify all of our schools toward our technology vision, which is focused on student achievement using 21st century skills.
It'll be an exciting year ahead for our schools, definitely, and you sound to be like a very busy team right now.
Yeah, we certainly are, and we just want to remind our viewers that a lot more information about our technology initiatives can be found on our website at trc.mansd.org.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Next this morning, we have Karen Machado. I would like to thank her for coming today. Karen is the principal of the Manchester School of Technology.
Thank you.
Karen, the Manchester School of Technology started out as a tech center in Manchester, but that's certainly not the MST we see today. Can you tell us what the Manchester School of Technology is and what opportunities it provides for our students?
Well, we still do have our technology center, and we do serve a lot of the surrounding communities. We have about 1,000 students that come for 17 different programs. Along with that, for many, many years, we've been asked, why can't our students stay there all day? Because the students do love coming to MST because that's, their career desires and dreams. So about 4 years ago, we decided to make it a 4-year high school. We say 4-year, but actually it's, we always say the students can go as fast as they want or go as slow as they need to. But the students are there all day, and we have a very unique and innovative model that the students go through at this time. And we're so excited that we're going to our 4th year this year of students graduating.
Okay, so they can look forward to the graduation at the end of the season
Yes.
in 2016.
Yep.
And what program areas are available at MST for students?
Well, if you want to go into any of the career and technical education programs, we have anything from any of the programs that help to build a house. We build a house every single year. We have lots of technology programs. We're starting with some computer science, and we have video, we have design, we have game design. We have a wonderful green technology program that just started, health science. We have careers in education, which we'll hear a little bit more about later on its new space. We also have culinary arts, cosmetology, auto, collision repair. We just have, practically any type of career that you want to go into. We have something that will fill those desires.
Excellent. And can you tell us where families can go if they have questions about the programs or if they'd like to learn more about it?
We do have a website that anybody can go on and look at our Manchester School of Technology, and we have all of the programs, all the descriptions of there, and we also have a description of our full-time high school as well.
Excellent. Now, this summer, there have been some changes for your facility.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We're so excited that we're going to be opening 4 new science classrooms. They're so busy right now just making sure that they get all the last touches in there, the new furniture and all the casework, and they're just absolutely beautiful. In order to make that happen within our building, we did relocate our careers in education program along with our preschool that we have. We also service 3- and 4-year-olds in the morning and 4- and 5-year-olds in the afternoon, and this is part of the program where our students learn to become teachers, but also part of that experience is taking care of real-life children that come there on a daily basis.
Excellent. It sounds like MST continues to grow and develop as a school, and
Absolutely.
It's definitely a jewel for our community.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Dr. Livingston and Mr. Ryan, welcome back. It is clear that a great number of wonderful things are taking place in the Manchester schools and that we have a lot to look forward to this year. If parents have any questions or concerns about this school year, what should they do? What steps should they take?
I think we'd like our parents to first start with the classroom teacher. We want to make sure that the parent has direct access to the teacher about their child and what's going on inside of the classroom. And if they're not getting the information that they need, or if the teacher's unable to help them at that time, then we certainly invite them to speak with the school principal to see if they can get to any kind of answer or resolution or make sure that everything's satisfactory. If they're not pleased or satisfied with the answers that they're getting at the school level, we're more than happy to talk with our parents. They can contact my office through the 624-6300 phone line, and we'll make sure that we get to a satisfactory answer for everybody, and we'll resolve all of the issues that come up during the school year. As we know, there are many, because with 15,000 students, we have a lot of issues that do arise, and we want to make sure that everybody gets exactly what they need in order to be successful.
Thank you. And where can students, parents, families, and community members go to find out more information of what's going on in our school district?
We're very pleased that we have added a Facebook page that gives really instant information about what's going on in the district. We also have the district website that's very easily accessed at mansd.org. And we do also put out a district newsletter every month, which kind of encapsulates all the special projects, focuses on success of students, teachers, and gives updated information that parents want to know.
Wonderful. So if parents want basic information, they can definitely go to our website. And are your newsletters available on the website as well?
Yes, they are. They're posted each month.
Okay. And then they can follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Yes, that's correct.
Great. All right. Well, we thank you for joining us today on behalf of the Manchester School District. I hope you have a great day and an amazing school year in Manchester. Thank you very much.